16 weeks ago, I began a journey to learn about the basics of video production. Like many people, my knowledge of videography was rudimentary. Taking a serious approach to the subject, I committed myself to investing in the equipment that would fulfill the requirements of the class, but would also serve me in any future video projects that I might undertake. Besides the initial camera kit, I also purchased lighting, several additional lenses, a gimbal, a drone to take aerial videos, a boom mic stand, wireless lavalier mics, and even a teleprompter. I wanted to be prepared for just about any project that I might want to tackle. Initially, my time in class revolved around getting a big picture overview of video production. I learned about various key positions of a video crew. I learned about the story cycle and how to compose a proper script. This information was put to use when we were tasked to complete a script for a PSA, public service announcement. My first script was a bit ambitious with overtones of an end-of-the-world apocalyptic vision that I was very thankful I was not going to have to use it in a future video project. After looking at storyboards and getting a deeper perspective on producing, we were finally given our first video project, a vlogging exercise. We were tasked to creating a short vlog on a topic that we found interesting. With Halloween right around the corner, I chose one of my favorite topics, clowns. Interesting to me, but no doubt disturbing to others. We could only use a webcam on this assignment, and we were not allowed to do any editing. Initially, I was a bit disappointed about that, but the exercise provided me with an important point of reference, allowing me to compare my skill set and knowledge at the beginning of the class to where I am now at the end of the class. Next, we learned about lenses, camera compositions, white balance, the rule of thirds, framing, focal lengths, perspectives, shutter speed, frames per second, apertures, depth of field, ISO, and a lot of other stuff in a very short period of time. This info prepared us for our next exciting challenge, 20 shots of a park bench. Not quite at the level of a Steven Spielberg production, but a necessary exercise. This is where I began to get comfortable with my camera and could practice compositing shots. I called the project The Lonely Bench to give it an artsy feel. It was a fun project that took much longer than anticipated to complete, taking several hours for a couple minutes of usable video. But I guess that's the normal course when filming. Being slightly demoralized by my realization that I still had a ways to go in building my skill set, I returned to the classroom to learn the skills necessary to complete our next project, the interview. To accomplish this project, we learned about proper lighting and audio techniques. We were introduced to the differences in light temperature and three-point lighting, key, fit, fill, and backlight, as well as light diffusion techniques. We also learned about the Rembrandt triangle, something I attempted to recreate in the interview project. After finding my victim, niece, for the interview, I set about to prepare for the shoot. Camera with tripod, the various lights, the wireless lavaliers, and after a couple of sound checks and one final review of the questions, we began. Everything went smoothly. Again, I was not allowed to edit the film, so it was important to get everything right in one take, which I accomplished. With the initial video production under our belts, it was time to set us free on our next project, PSA number 2. I decided to do my PSA on depression awareness. My nephew agreed to be the talent for this video, for a small fee, of course. We ventured outside and with my gimbal in hand, took various shots of my nephew walking down a rural road. After getting the shots I needed, we headed back inside. The interior shots required filming from different camera angles, necessitating multiple lighting changes. That evening I took 2 additional nighttime shots. The last shot of the 2 was a bit more challenging. Going for dramatic effect, I needed to film my nephew in the dark with only half his face lit, and with nothing else being visible in the shot. In the end, everything came together, and this video ended up being my favorite video of the class. After completing this project, we had one final PSA to produce. Study habits for college students. I again rounded up my niece to play one of the college students, and I played the other. As before, the shoot required multiple shots at different angles and more than one location. Once again, I tried to work my magic in editing. Although the end product was close to my initial vision, I did make some changes. I originally wanted the dialogue to come directly from the characters. However, there were some problems in the sound consistency due to the various takes, so I opted to add a voiceover narration instead. Overall, I was happy with the finished product. That brings us to today's video blog, a chance to showcase and reflect on some of the skills I have learned in this class. I have come a long way since the first Primal webcam vlog I was tasked to create nearly 4 months ago. I now have a good understanding of the various lenses and how to use them to get the shots I want, and how to properly light subject. I no longer just point and shoot the camera, but instead I compose my shots, such as using the rule of thirds and depth of field. I have a greater understanding of how shutter speed, aperture, white balance, and ISO affect the quality of the video. I understand how to write a script, compose a storyboard, and do a shot list. I have learned about the roles of the producer and the director, and now have general understanding of the film production process. The journey that I started 4 months ago has now come to an end, but it was a journey that was well worth the effort. Thank you.